John 19:28. So Jesus cries out, I am thirsty. God created the heavens and the earth. Jesus is the one who created the heavens and the earth. He created all the waters, both in the firmament, in the land, and the ocean, everything. It's estimated probably 390 million square miles of water is there in the world. Not exactly sure. Anyhow, we have that much water. This is the God. When He created the water, He also designed the chemical formula for it. H2O, right? 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. So He is the one holding the force of the atom together. Do you know what force holds together the atom? Do you know? No, right? Scientists have recently found out it is a strong force that holds the atom together. Because you have proton has a unique charge, the neutron has a unique charge, and the electron has a unique charge. They could rip apart and go away, but they all stay together. The God, the Jesus, who created this force and holding everything together, He is asking for water. Jesus recalled the conversation he had had with the woman at the well. You know the story of the woman at Jacob's well, right? So Jesus was going from Jerusalem to Galilee. He took a shortcut. He went to Samaria. So he was thirsty. He and his disciples were there. The disciples went to the market to buy food. When Jesus was there, he was sitting at the well. Then the Samaritan woman came there to fetch water. So Jesus asked her, could you please give me a cup of water? Then the woman was surprised because Jesus being a Jew, born into a in Indian system we say higher caste, right? He was born into that. How come he asked me? I may not want to give it to you. Then Jesus said, please give it to me. Then she hesitated. Then he says, the water I give you, you will never thirst. I will give you the living water. The woman was stunned. How can he give a woman living water? Then the conversation went on. Then the woman says, when Messiah comes, He will reveal everything to us. I am He who is standing here, Jesus says. She was surprised. He converted immediately. He went to the city and told the people, I found the Messiah, the one He will give me the living water. Today my Jesus is hanging on the cross, asking for water. There is a spiritual explanation for that. Generally, it is believed that He is asking for our spiritual rebirth. That way Jesus is asking you and me, your thirst is quenched. Have you quenched your thirst? It is for you to decide, because God gave you multiple opportunities to accept Him. So now let's move on to the 6th verse. It appears in John chapter 19, verse 30. When everything came to a close, Jesus uttered the word, it is finished. So one last time Jesus looks at Jerusalem. All the women were standing on the side and crying. So Jesus looked at them. Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep for you and your children. The days are coming when you will say, better is the womb that never bore, or better is the bosom that never nurses. Then He looked at Jerusalem. Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the one who kills the prophets and the one who stones those who are sent to her. How many times I tried to gather your children together, as how a hen gathers the chicks together under her wings, but you will never listen. You are never willing. So I abandoned you. I am gone. You will not see me until you say, blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. And He continues, I send you the prophets. You stoned them. I send you wise men. You crucified them. I send you the scribes. You scourged them and butchered them at the synagogues and the cities. Henceforth, all the blood that was shed on the earth will fall upon you. starting from the righteous blood of Abel to Zechariah, you murdered them in between the altar and the temple. It is finished. I gave you the last opportunity. Take it from me. Believe me, I am the Son of God. Jesus gave 3 different examples to them. Jesus told them, I created the world with the power of my word. I am the word. You didn't believe me. I created the macrocosm. You know, if you happen to look through the Hubble microscope, a rice grain size of space would contain 10,000 galaxies. That's how astonishing the macrocosm is. Then when you look down the microcosm, we all are familiar with the DNA molecule. It is a 6 feet long small molecule. It is contained in 0.029 millimeter. If you were to extract all the DNA in your body, and if you had to stretch it out from end to end, you know, it could go for 200 billion kilometers. You could go to the sun and come back 600 times. You can go to the sun and come back moon and come back 6,000 times. If you start counting all the DNA bases present in the cells, one by one, if you start now, it will take 57 years for it to count it. Within this DNA molecule, it is called ATCG, God instilled life in it. So Jesus says, I am the one who founded the world. I created the world with the might of my word, spoken word. I created life. You believe me, but you did not believe. It is finished. Then Jesus said, I send you the word. That is the Bible. All the 66 books, they talk about me. Nobody else. Now if you take a diamond, you look at it from a 360-degree angle, or 180-degree angle, or 90-degree angle, it will keep its magnificence. Its beauty will not be diminished. Right? So all the 66 books talk about Jesus. So, in Genesis, Jesus is called the seed of the woman. So Jesus says, I am the seed of the woman. So in Genesis, he is the seed of the woman. In Exodus, he is the Passover lamb. In Leviticus, he is the high priest. In Numbers, he is the pillar of clouds in the day and pillar of fire in the night. In Deuteronomy, he is a prophet more than Moses. In Joshua, he is the captain of our salvation. In Judges, he is the lawgiver. In Ruth, he is the kinsman and redeemer. In Samuel, he is more than the anointed. In Ezra, he is the faithful scribe. In Kings, he is the lawgiver. In Nehemiah, he is the rebuilder of the broken down wall. In Esther, he is our Mordecai. In Job, he is the dayspring on high. In Psalms, he is the good shepherd. In Proverbs, he is the wisdom. In Ecclesiastes, he is the wisdom from above. In Song of Solomon, he is the love and bridegroom. In Isaiah, he is the Prince of Peace. In Jeremiah, he is the weeping prophet. In Ezekiel, he is the wheel turning. In Daniel, he is the fourth man in the fiery furnace. In Hosea, he is the prophet who is married to the backsliding woman. In Joel, he is the one who will baptize you with fire and spirit. In Amos, he is the burden bearer. In Jonah, he is the forgiving God. In Micah, he is the admonishing prophet. In Nahum, he is the avenger of the spirit. In Habakkuk, he is the one who is crying in the wilderness. In Zechariah, he is the restorer of the God's last heritage. In Malachi, he is the son of righteousness coming down with healing in his wings. If you go further, all the New Testament books talk about me. Matthew calls him the Messiah. Mark calls him the wonder worker. Luke calls him the Son of Man. And John calls him the Son of God. In Acts, he alone is the ascended God. In Romans, he is the only road to salvation. In Corinthians, he is the gift of love. In Galatians, he is the God who saves us. In Philippians, he is the God of riches. In Ephesians, he is the God who meets all our needs. In Colossians, he is the image of the invisible God. In Thessalonians, he is the soul coming king. In Timothy, he is the mediator between God and man. In Titus, he is the faithful pastor. In Philemon, he is the friend, more than a brother. In Hebrews, he is the blood that washes away our sins. In Peter, he is the shepherd of the soul. In James, he is the physician who never lost a patient. In John, he is the love everlasting. In Jude, he is the Son of God who is coming with 10,000 angels. In Revelation, he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. So the Bible talks about me. All the books talk about me. All the verses talk about me. Yet you would not believe me. Okay, I give you the third option. Then I came by myself. In John 14 we read, in the beginning was the Word was God. You read that, right? And in 14 it says, the Word became flesh. Have you ever wondered how Word can become flesh? If you read John 14, John talks about Logos. I'm sure you're aware, right? So, the spiritual, life-giving Logos, which created life, has become the physical Jesus now. So what he did was, Jesus says, I gave you two options, you didn't accept it. Now I'm giving the last one. I come to you. I live in heaven. So I leave the glorious, glittering, golden mansion. That's my abode. I left there. So I was strolling through the crystal corridors of the galaxy and stepped down through the stars and borrowed a human womb. I am spirit. God is spirit, right? I am a spirit. So I borrowed a human womb. I merged with matter. So through hypostatic union, we call it incarnation, I became a man. I became one among you. I walked with you. I talked with you. I did wonders and miracles. I opened the eyes of the blind. I opened the ears of the deaf. I opened the mouth of the dumb. You would not believe it. Yet then, I rose Lazarus after 4 days from the dead. Still you would not believe me. You are crucifying me. It is finished. I give you the last opportunity. Believe me, I am He. I am He sent from heaven. He who believeth in me, though you are dead, yet you shall live. You shall live. I and the Father are one. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. It is finished. It is for you to decide. Now that the ball is in your court, you have the option either to accept me or reject me. So let's come to the final word.